Hello, welcome back to another video, another tutorial. Today I'm going to be going over how I do my Cadian guard armor. It's based off the eavy metal recipes, which you can find on a website, eavy archive, which I'm going to leave in the description. But to start off with, the base coat is 1 part Caliban green, 2 parts Castellan green, and 3 parts Lauren Forest. If you have a spare paint bottle, you can honestly just make a big mix of this and then just save it for any time you want to paint Cadians. It unifies the color scheme, makes it easier to paint in large quantities, and you never run out of the color. After doing all the cloth, I generally base coat, block in all the armor parts, so the belt buckle, the main carapace armor, flak armor, and the knee pads. You can generally base coat pretty quickly in this step, but try not to get paint on the fatigues. If you get anything on this bright khaki, it'll sort of show and be pretty hard to remove. So just be careful. If you do make a mistake, just grab some base coat, some Carrick Stone or Baleen Brown, and just cover that up. I make plenty of mistakes all the time. You can see I fix them in the video, but yeah, it's not something to be ashamed of. The first video was kind of rough. I had trouble focusing. I had trouble with the angle. My hand was in the way all the time. I'm trying something new out with my phone camera, so let me know if you like it. Let me know if I think I should keep it or anything I should change. After base coating, I do a recess shade of 50/50 Caliban green and Abaddon black. You can use any black paint, it really doesn't matter. When I do my recess shade, I focus on all the recesses, of course, but I also do a little shade around the edges of the material near where it touches the webbing, so the leather. Um, it'll help the separation of the leather when I do paint that eventually. Um, it just sets that up for later stages. I also do a glaze on some of the knee pads and some of the armor pads, but it really doesn't matter too much. This part is just for if you want to take it that extra mile. You don't need to do this. It'll be barely noticeable in the final model, but it'll add just that little touch. After the recess shade, I do a first highlight of Lauren Forest. I don't thin this really that much because I want to get a nice opaque layer, and I do a really like sort of thick, like chunky edge highlight on all the surfaces. Um, this can be really thick. I think a lot of videos doing edge highlighting, I think it's deceptive on how thin they look, but you can make these pretty chunky. Um, you also don't have to do as many highlights as I do. These are 6 points a model. They're gonna die to a stiff breeze, especially around the side of the armor where his arms attached. You really don't have to edge highlight any of that. I just do it for consistency, but you can really just pick and choose how much you want to do. This would be a good time to do battle damage. So if you want to do any chipping or scarring or bullet holes, I do some speckles with this Lauren Forest highlight. Um, you can highlight it later as well. You can also just leave it as bare Lauren Forest and it'll look fine. My third highlight is a edge highlight of Straken Green. This is going to go inside the first edge highlight of Lauren Forest. This can also be somewhat thick. You just want to keep it inside the bounds you've already set with your previous layer. I also don't thin this paint as much as well. You can already see on the paintbrush it kind of is a little globby. I mean, thin it to however you can use it the best, but for me, I personally don't like to thin it too much. This is the first highlight where you start to see that glowing heavy metal edge that it's known so well for. It can be pretty satisfying to do. Lastly, we're going to do a third edge highlight of Nurgling Green on all the edges. I tend to do it on all the surfaces, but not always. Sometimes I just do the upward facing surfaces. It really depends on if I really want to get it done quickly or if I'm actually enjoying it. I'll get through all the surfaces. But you can honestly just get away with just doing the upward facing ones and it'll look completely fine. Half the time you don't even see the highlights from the bottom, so it really isn't a big deal. Um, this is the one you want to be the neatest with though, so you want to get the thinnest line. So sometimes you can use the edge of the brush to get the line. Sometimes you have to use the tip of it. Um, you can see I'm contorting the model upside down every which way just to get like a better angle of attack, and that really helps getting those fine lines. You can do it however you want. I mean, there's no one proven method, but this is just the way I like to do it. I know I said the Nurgling Green was going to be the final highlight, but what you can do if you really want to go that extra mile, I mix a little bit of white into the Nurgling Green and I just do a little dot highlight. This is really extraneous and not necessary, but I just thought I'd do it just to show how it works, and that's the armor finished up. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to comment down below what you want me to do next. I plan on continuing the Cadians until I at least paint this full model, but past that, I'm kind of down for whatever, so just let me know. Thank you for watching.